Christmas or no, do your fucking job, Family Ties production team.
And in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hey everybody, welcome to Quality Time with Family Ties. I am one of your hosts, Scott Jones. Joining me, Mr. Paul Packler. Paul, how are you?
I'm really good because I'm wearing this shirt.
What are you looking at, Dick Nose? Is that what it says? Look what I'm...
That's what it says. It's what Styles wore in Teen Wolf, the movie with Michael J. Fox.
Perfect tie-in. See, you dressed appropriately for the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And Corey, how are you doing, man?
I'm fine. I left my Teen Wolf memorabilia somewhere else. It's in a storage locker in Van Nuys.
Yeah, mine's at dry cleaning right now. So, well, guys, it's Christmas, guys. It's Christmas.
Merry Christmas. By the time this episode comes out, it's probably like June or July.
It will be Christmas.
Corey, I don't want you to feel left out of the episode today just because it's Christmas, okay?
You know what? I celebrate Christmas, and we just leave the Christ out of it, just like the Keatons did.
They prayed less in this episode than they did in Thanksgiving.
Yes, that's true. They all had a family prayer at Thanksgiving, and at Christmas there was no mention of religion. It was just gifts.
It was just
gifts and vacation.
Yes. So yeah, we're on season 1, episode 11, titled "A Christmas Story." It's our first Christmas with the Keatons.
Woohoo!
And before we jump into the story, guys, what'd you think of the new theme song? New and improved?
I did like it a little bit more. I liked it. Really? They have better voices. Yeah, they do. They can play a little bit more. I sort of liked it.
Yeah, there's a better flow to it. It's not as like syncopated the way they were singing, or it wasn't like this stilted performance. Denise Williams and Johnny Mathis, you've got a future.
Wait, I don't know if you're talking about Johnny Mathis. There's not much of a future.
Well, that was a big fuck you to Mindy Sterling, but okay.
Yeah, a few weeks ago.
Well, it turns out Corey doesn't actually know.
Mindy Sterling.
Yeah, we had begged her to come on the show, and now, guys, I don't think that's going to happen. All right? But Mindy Sterling, if you still want to come on the show and take back the Family Ties theme song, we welcome you. Absolutely. All right.
So this was another episode with no cold open.
No cold opening.
They can't get their concept straight, whether they want to have a little preview of the story, of the A story in an open, or just go straight to Act 1.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, it's like they feel like they could take it or leave it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm still trying to figure out what they're using it for.
Well, the last time they used it was that one time, amongst all the times they haven't, was with the house breaking in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that time it was setting up a problem that they would then investigate for the rest of the episode. But that wasn't how they did it before. Cold opens weren't used because it was setting up a problem. There was no, game to a cold open. They just use it or they don't use it.
Sometimes a cold open would be standalone, all by itself. It was just something that was great for the characters. Or sometimes a cold open was used for almost like a C plot line, for something that they just wanted to sort of string through the show a little bit.
Right.
Totally.
Like it called back at the very end of the
Absolutely.
episode. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the Keatons are planning on going on a ski trip.
Excuse me, Scott, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Does anyone know where there's good skiing in the Ohio area?
Thank you, Corey. Thank you.
I think their option
would be in Ohio.
Yeah, their option would be to drive 10 hours to Kentucky, I think. They would have to go past Cincinnati into the mountains of Kentucky. It would be the
Blue Ridge
closest.
Mountains is up there.
Yeah.
I just couldn't quite grasp. Where are you fools going in Dayton, Ohio, right?
Yeah. Right. And it's Christmas Eve. They're going skiing, but they haven't left yet, and it's Christmas Eve.
Right.
Yes.
Why are you leaving in the
It's not going to be that
Don't
far.
those people have the day off on Christmas Eve and leave earlier in the day?
Yeah. So already we're hitting the laziness of the Family Ties writing staff with this episode. Not doing one bit of research.
And not only that, it's even more embarrassing because this episode was released on the 15th of December, and they did one more episode before Christmas. So these lazy fucks. Lazy fucks.
You know what? If you're going to be lazy for a Christmas episode, you just rip off It's a Wonderful Life, and that's it. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
This aired on December 15th, and they did have an episode on December 22nd.
It's just so weird. Why would they do that?
Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't they have flip-flopped it? Probably because this episode sucks.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're not ending their break, on a high note with this episode.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yeah, please pump one more out before we all leave for the holidays.
Also, so they're going to be going to the ski trip. Do you think if Alex hadn't lost his virginity a couple episodes back, that this was the ski trip where Steven wanted to talk to Alex about sex?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, you might be right.
Because remember, if you remember, dear listeners, he said that he dreamed of having the talk when they were sitting in a ski lodge by the fire.
Mm-hmm.
You're right, Paul.
I wonder if Gary David Goldberg just loves skiing, if this is a thing with him, skiing.
Yeah.
If they had followed up with that, this would have been such a better episode.
Mm-hmm.
Way more interesting.
Instead, we learn Mallory packs a lot.
Yeah.
I really hated how they wrote Mallory in this one. It's like she's a shadow of what she could have been.
Absolutely. They dumbed her down, and they dumbed her down fast.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
She became a boy hungry. In this episode, she's like boy hungry, sex crazy.
Every line.
It's
materialistic. Yeah.
And she plays against what you get naturally from Justine Bateman, which is smart and wordy.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we get to the premise pretty quick because they get snowed in from their ski trip. How do we know they get snowed in? Because it's the classic sitcom of opening the door and a shit ton of snow comes right in your face.
That was it. I love that. The minute the door opened, I thought, that's a stationary shot. That camera's not going to move because they're going to come out and in. And that's
Yep.
All the snow that doesn't melt, all that stage snow that's in their hair that doesn't melt.
It doesn't become water. There's no water in the snow at all. And I got very sick very quickly of them complaining about snow in December in Ohio.
Yeah. They should be.
It snows in December and all. And if you're going skiing, don't you want snow?
I was thinking this should be a good thing.
Yes, it's a good thing. You're complaining. It's skiing. It's snowing for your ski trip. Go skiing, fools!
Well, I mean, these days, with global warming and everything, by the time February rolls around, we usually in New York get pretty sick of snow. We're like, oh, this fucking snow in February, it's all mushy and slush everywhere. Maybe back in the 80s, when there wasn't as much global warming, it was snowing in, like, November and December, so by the time December rolled around, it was just, the end of it. And people were killing themselves by January.
Right, but Corey brings up the good point. They are going skiing, so this should be a good sign for them.
Yeah.
That's a good ski trip. We're going to have a freshly packed snow. That's great.
And did they really have to open the door to know how bad it was snowing outside? I mean, how many windows are in that house?
Really, just look out a window. It's snowing, okay? Relax.
You don't need to open the door and actually try to haul everything out there and then rush back in. I know it's a funny bit, but...
And that house, when they turn off the lights in the living room, that's the darkest house I've ever seen. The stage lights go down, and it is pitch black.
And that's a good point, Paul, because let's not forget they just got fucking robbed.
That's true.
Leave a light on, people. You're going away for a few days.
They learned nothing from that episode.
They learned nothing from Home Alone, my God.
Well, still, this is another 10 years before Home Alone, Paul.
It's true.
Well, I've been watching Back to the Future, so I'm all over the place.
Oh, okay, I hear you. So we get to our premise pretty quickly. Is they're going to open up a couple of gifts early because they're stranded inside now. And the first gift, and they've decided to give homemade gifts to each other, not spend a lot of money. That was kind of the goal they set this year, which is always a horrible idea. You never get nothing.
Nobody wants them. Nope.
Nothing. And Elise gives Stephen a photo album of the births of their children, of around the time for each of their births. And so we're going to flash back one of these kids' births. And if you were expecting something Christmassy and fun happening in each of these scenarios, guys, no.
No,
nothing like watch Meredith Baxter Burney go into labor 3 freaking times in 22 minutes.
And I gotta say, she's the only good thing in this episode. She really plays it great. I love how pissed. It almost felt like she was pissed at the writing in this episode.
Yes.
And using that.
When she got mad at Steven, in at least almost all 3 of them, she got angry at Steven because he was so distracted, which is sort of kind of off character for him as well.
Yeah,
He's
I
not
thought that
a
was
wacky
weird
character.
Yeah.
He's very logical and down to earth.
Absolutely. I feel he would be very nurturing and listening to her and everything, but in every one, he's really distracted. So we flash to Africa during their Peace Corps times when Alex is about to be born. And let's just start off by saying this. Even when Family Ties is set in Africa, there are still no black people.
Thank you. That was the first thing I was going to say.
Yeah, they're in
God
Africa,
forbid.
and we still couldn't get a black character actor. We had to get Peter Jurassic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they couldn't have. The only time they had black people was when they were in prison. That was it. That was the only time they were allowed, and then they weren't allowed to speak. Yeah. Oh, this fucking show. Oh.
Oh, you're saying we're only in the first season, pal, and you love
I know this fucking show.
Well, okay, let me say this fucking episode, because I don't want to.
This episode.
Yeah.
I don't want to. This show is literally the worst one so far.
And I know that they have no Nostradamus on the writing staff, but they kept on referring to a record-breaking drought. Well, here in California, Scott, we have a record-breaking drought.
We got 1 year, Corey. We got 1 year stockpiling already.
The prices of produce is already ridiculous here. Can you imagine what it would cost to make a salad in Africa?
Wait, what's going on with the drought? Because if it doesn't happen in New York City, I don't care. So what's going on?
The whole the whole state of California has been dry for a year and a half, 2 years. No rain.
Wow.
Apparently,
and so much produce is grown here, so everything is going to go up in price.
Oh my God, my avocados.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're not getting those, pal. That's not happening.
All right.
Yeah.
So she's going into labor, right? She starts to feel the labor pains. Did it occur to anybody that perhaps her khaki shorts should come off before birthing a child? Don't push Elise. Alex is going to see a zipper first thing.
There's no logic at all of how babies. There's no water breaking. They have her like she just plops down into a cot that like.
It's and they're having
Then he starts talking to
never see. And then Steven goes out to like swim in the rain for a little bit.
Yes, because the drought's over, and it's a miracle. Alex is being born, and it's raining. It's a miracle. Let me go talk to Elise's belly.
Yeah.
Oh, and then not only that. Let me just rewind for a second, because the idiot. There's this other guy, this Jewish guy Max, who is their friend in the Peace Corps, who hates it there. He's like the token character from Biloxi Blues or something,
right.
And so they brought him in, and they are able to somehow be racist on both sides of the coin, where he's like fuck these black people and their weird tribal dances for the rain. It's scary. They're so freaky. And then at the same time, Stephen and Elise are like, no, it's so quaint and wonderful that they're so silly and stupid, and it's just like, oh my God, you're racist on both sides. And
then way to serve. Way to serve.
And then they refer to obviously the Peace Corps, what was created under JFK with his inaugural speech in 1961 when he said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And then as a punchline, Max is saying it and fucks it up. And like the audience is so bored. They're tittering. Because a punchline really works when it's like a punchline.
Oh, it took forever for that punchline. Oh. And on a speech that everybody could quote and know.
I didn't have to Wikipedia that one. I pulled it out of my head.
Yeah. Well, you are also
Mr.
obsessed with
Gorbachev,
JFK.
tear that wall down. You know that one too?
Yeah. I've heard that one in stories.
So yeah, and that's the story of Alex being born in Africa. That really is it.
So that's the story of Alex being born. That's what's incredible to me. They think that they're telling some story, but there's no story to it.
Yeah. They put in like 4 lame jokes and then let it run for 3 minutes. That's about it.
That was it.
By the way, you know the actor who played Max actually was a very, very popular character actor, I think right after Family Ties. He had a whole season arc on Hill Street Blues, and then they spun his character off into a character with the Dennis Franz character. Dennis Franz played like Detective Bunce, and they spun it off into a half-hour dramedy called Beverly Hills Bunce, and it was about it was Andy Sipowicz from NYPD Blue before he was Andy Sipowicz. When it was just Dennis Franz. And it was Dennis Franz and Sid the Snitch. That's what Peter Jurassic played, was Sid the Snitch, Sid Thurston. And that show ran only for half a season, for 13 episodes. But he did like 13 episodes on Hill Street and then 13 episodes of his own show. So he had this little moment there where he was doing pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Based on all of this talk about dramedies, has there ever been a dramedy that worked on TV? Everyone's tried, but has anyone...
Well, you know, there are dramedies that work, but we don't call them dramedies anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like Californication or Girls, those are really dramedies, and those are successful.
I would say even Parenthood to some extent, probably.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah.
But the word in Hollywood is never to be used. You have to define the show, which goes back to, you know, where they have the Emmy Awards and they put, like, Orange is the New Black up for Best Comedy, and it's not a comedy. It's not a drama show.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, there's funny things that happen in prison. Yuck, 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 yuck. But it's not a comedy. For me, it's got to be a half hour. There's no hour comedies. You know, it's a drama if it's an hour. It's a half hour. But Orange is the New Black is an hour, and they call it a comedy. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's weird. I never got why it was categorized as a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that'll be another podcast we can do. Explore that. All right, so yeah, that's Alex. You were expecting.
And once again, with how lazy these sons of bitches are, like they've been dancing around how old he is and when he was born and this and that, and in their opening credits they have that picture saying 1966, and they have him being born in 1965. They say it, and so they're already
they have it on the screen.
Yeah.
So they contradict themselves within the first 11 episodes.
Yeah. Were people this stupid back in the 80s? Is that what it is? Like,
I can't believe they missed this.
Did no one care? No viewing public was like, wait a second.
This is an outrage.
Didn't they know that 30 years later we would be parsing every mistake they made on the internet?
Joke's on you, Family Ties production team. That's right. It's like a cold case that we've come back to solve. All right, so we go back to the living room where Christmas magic is happening, and oh god,
is this where someone gets a hat like Jennifer knitted
that's
something?
not until after Mallory.
Yeah,
okay.
That's in the. That's
and can we just say the hat might have been the highlight of the show?
Could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, they're looking at more of the pictures, and there's not much of a setup. We just pretty much go to.
It's a very short interstitial scene.
Very
short.
They
really don't do anything in it except let's look at another picture. Oh, this is Mallory being born. Let's go now to Mallory.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
so we go to Berkeley in 1967.
1967, and we meet Crazy Larry.
Crazy Larry Waxman.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Doctor, PhD.
Dr. Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad they know each other from summer camp, but let's talk about Steven's hair and hairband first.
Yeah.
That wig.
I was like, did he flash? Is he flashing back in his wardrobe?
I couldn't figure out what the hell was happening with that wig and hairband. That was just a bad choice.
Wait a second. Now, because I was so angry watching this, and I watched it twice. And I still don't remember. Wait, let's go back a second. When they were in Africa, what color was Steven's hair? Was it just regular gray?
No, it was dark when they were in Africa.
It was dark.
Long and curly and dark, and he was wearing a cap.
Okay, because then, with this one, he looks like how he does in the opening credits with the long hippie hair. And I was just like, wait a second, did they not even care?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, wait a second, we're in the 70s now. Why is he still dressing like a hippie? Because he wasn't dressing like a hippie in the Peace Corps.
No, in 67, it was the Summer of Love, and they were in Berkeley. So,
right. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, we meet this doctor, Dr. Larry, and
Elise is in labor.
And fucking hates him.
She wants she'd take Dr. Seuss. Any doctor would be better than this guy.
Yeah. Oh, God. Because he's just making pun after dumb pun. And I'm with you, Meredith Baxter Burney. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
And Steven seems relatively uninvolved with his wife for a camp friend that he hasn't really stayed in touch with, because this is pre-Facebook. You don't stay in touch with your camp friends from the early 60s.
No, right. you do hand jobs during the summer, and then you're like, I'll write you once a week.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You never do. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. But boy, did they have a bond. They had a song and hand motions to go with the song. And poor Elise is just miserable on this cot.
Did either of you guys go to camp when you were kids, like go away camp?
Yeah, I had to. I was a Boy Scout, and yeah, and I had to go to.
I went to Jewish camp one summer.
Now,
it was a Jewish sports camp, and I was not an athlete. So I got the shit kicked out of me constantly. It was awful. It was 8 weeks of hell until the last week of camp, when they have like color war and the whole camp is divided into two teams. Yeah. And they needed somebody for the Jeopardy tournament, and they needed somebody for the musical comedy. So who's the little freak who knows how to sing and dance and tell no trivia? Me. I became everybody's favorite person for the last week of camp. But boy, did they hate me for the first 7.
Wow. You know what scares me now is that there's that trend of camps where the kid's not allowed to call home, and they just give you pictures. That scares the shit out of me.
Logan was just up at Catalina a couple of weekends ago with school. Yeah. And they weren't allowed. They were not to bring their phones, and they can't call home. And you go 3 days not hearing from your kid.
Why can't they call home? Why is that a thing?
They just don't. It's an educational experience, and they don't want to interrupt. He even goes. He goes 1 week every summer to a YMCA camp up at Lake Arrowhead.
Okay.
And they don't let them use phones for that camp either. They just think it's distracting. Because if the kids have the phones, they're going to play games, and they're going to just deal with the phone.
I totally get that, but I figured they would have like a phone on site where they could call home or something.
No,
but that's so weird to me.
They tell the parents, if anything goes wrong, we'll call you.
Okay, all right.
I kind of get that a little bit, but yeah, it just feels weird. Like
it's weird. It's still weird.
Yeah. It's still
So we're left with Elise in labor, screaming for a nurse right in front of one of those buttons you can push. You know those nurse buttons they give you to call for a nurse?
I think I was like Paul. I was so mad at Crazy Larry that I didn't notice the button.
Last night I was sitting in front of the television with the Clockwork Orange things in my eyes, and I was like, I have to pay attention, and this show would be going on, and I was like, I hate you.
You show, fuck you. So that's
the other thing about Crazy Larry. All this is happening, and Crazy Larry keeps making terrible jokes. And first he's making them to Elise, who's, in pain in labor, and she's like, "What? What? That's not funny." And then when Steven comes in, it's the same thing, where he says a joke before he realizes that they went to camp together, and Steven's also like, "What? That's not funny." And then he's like, "I know why you two get along." Anyway, but my point is, it's great on a sitcom when you have a character who everyone thinks isn't funny. You're
That's always a
wasting.
good thing. Yeah.
You have 24 minutes, and you're putting in jokes that don't work.
Because probably it's the equivalent of doing an improv with somebody and not being able to add anything or not wanting to say no. So instead, you just like tell the person they're crazy to make them change their choice. Oh, wow, that's crazy talk. Tell me something else.
Yeah.
No, why don't you just listen and deal with that, okay?
Label it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, and so that's the wondrous birth of Mallory.
All right. So as we're coming back into 1982, let's take a short break, and then we'll come back and dissect more of nothing.
Merry Christmas. Okay, just a heads up, guys. I'm losing battery. I'm gonna see what I can do. All right?
All right. We are back.
All right. Okay, so we are back in the living room, and they're handing out some gifts. They decided to open up some more gifts. And yeah, and so Jennifer hands Mallory a package. She opens it up, and it's what looks like a very bad Christmas scarf.
Mm-hmm.
And the joke is, no, it's a hat, and it covers all of Mallory's face. Alex loves it. None of these kids are getting good Christmas presents at all this year.
And they've been screwed out of their ski vacation that no one seems to be acknowledging.
Yep.
Right.
And you know how children, they react very well when you get them hyped up for a vacation, and then at the last minute you tell them we can't go. They love that. They
this is great. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, is this also the part where Stephen made Elise a flute that's
without holes?
Without
no holes.
What kind of lazy ass joke is that?
That's exactly what I thought. That's the laziest joke I've ever heard. You didn't have a joke, so you sort of made it by making Stephen out to be an idiot.
Yeah, I'll do the holes next year. Come on.
That joke is symbolic of the entire episode.
Yes.
And the worst part is it's not even a flute; it's a recorder.
I thought that too.
It is. I wrote down flutophone. That's what we used to call it when I was a kid. They were called flutophones. Then they became recorders. That's what it is. It's a recorder.
Uh-oh.
Wait, did we lose Corey?
We lost Corey.
Okay, I still get you. Oh, shit. And I got like 1 minute of battery left, dude.
Oh, all right, let's take a break and see what you can do. Okay,
we're taking a break. Call Corey.